All right, so let's start making some code for GradeRecorder. We'll kind of get into the details of what the model is when we get to that point in the code. So we're going to be making this app. So we're going to be making GradeRecorder, but we're not worried about the UI at all, right? Like the UI is not our problem today. We're just going to worry about making the model objects. So we're going to make them. So we're going to make that models.py. We're going to do more than that, though. We're also going to go ahead and practice doing some more with queries. So how do you pull that data from the data store? And then we're also going to write all the insert handlers. So like when you insert a student or an assignment or a grade entry, we're going to write that code. So we're going to write models.py. We're going to do some practice with some queries. And then we're going to do some insert methods to make sure we can put these things into the data store and pull them out as well. So the way we're going to go ahead and get started is we're going to have you visit console.developer.google.com. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. I don't need to do this step with you, right? It's the same as always. And so go visit that URL. It's actually developers, plural. And you're just going to make a new project. So make a new project with any name you want. So you can make the name, GradeRecorder, or you can make it gibberish. The name here doesn't matter at all. And then as far as the app ID, we're going to make it your username -grade-recorder. I can never remember when I choose to put a hyphen between like the word grade and recorder, but here I chose to put the hyphen. You can see mine won't let me in because I've already made this before, so I'm just going to hit cancel, but you should hit create. Once you've got that step done, you don't really need to do anything else here, so you could actually just close that window if you wanted. So now you've got the project made, reserved, super. Now we're going to need some code. Typically, the way we've done things in this class is you've started from scratch, right? This project, since we're just writing pieces, we don't want to start from scratch. That would be a disaster. So we're going to have you visit this GitHub repository. So you can click on the link above, and you can go to this GitHub repository. And whenever you go to this repository, it should kind of look like this. The way this works, by the way, is the master branch is the code that you want to start with. But just in case you ever have trouble, know that there's another branch called the solution. So make sure you're on master, which is the default. And let's just go ahead and download this project. So I'd just say, just click on download zip. To be honest, you can put the download anywhere you want. But I typically organize that as well. So to keep it a little organized, I'm just going to go ahead and create a project. So create a new folder here, and I'm just going to call it GradeRecorder. And inside this, I'm going to stick that zip file. And then I'm just going to extract it right into that same folder. That seems like a good place to extract it. And so at this point, I should have a bunch of files in here. I guess that technically there's kind of like two things called GradeRecorder with the way I did it. I could fix that, or I could not fix it, right? If you wanted to fix it, you could just highlight it all and bring it up a level. So if you wanted to fix it, great. I chose to get rid of that in-between level so that I didn't have GradeRecorder and then GradeRecorder-master. So inside here, you can see that there's a bunch of files. There's folders for a static folder, folders for template. Those are things you've seen before. One thing that's new is you'll see there's this handlers folder. Really, that's a Python module. And then looks like that's my old folder I didn't need anymore. There's a main.py, a models.py, a utils.py, all kinds of things in here. Let's go ahead and fire up Eclipse and let's import the project into there. Technically, it's not an import. It's a creation of a new project based on that code. So I'm going to choose to right-click in this area over on the left. That's just how I choose to do it. And I'm just going to say New Project. Sure enough, went off the screen, but I'm saying New Project. You can take my word for it. PyDev Google App Engine project. And then the main thing here is we do not want to use the default location. We want to actually browse to where that folder got unzipped at. And so the folder that you want to select, the way I did it, it's called GradeRecorder. The way you did it, it may be called GradeRecorder-master. But it's the one that has like the handlers and the statics and the template folders right inside of it. So make sure you select that folder. And then inside Eclipse, I'm just going to call it GradeRecorder. Seems like a good name. The default interpreter should be fine, but just in case you have multiple interpreters, you could just go ahead and select that you're using the Python 2 interpreter. And then you can say next. Depending on the platform you're on, you'll have to browse to the Google App Engine. If I was on a Mac, I would have typed USR local Google App Engine. But of course, I'm not on a Mac, and that makes no sense in Windows land. So I'm going to browse to it. And if you forget what that repo is, you can look at some old notes that we've got. So in Windows land, it's under Program Files x86, Google App Engine. And then the important thing is that you see this screen, and it tells you all these libraries that it's going to bring in for you that it knows that you have access to. So I'm going to say, okay, yep, those are the libraries. And then instead of saying next, if I said next, that'd go to the template generator. No reason to click next. I'm done. So I click finished. So when you bring this project in, first off, I'll say there's no reason to run it because there's tons of syntax errors and things you've got to add, right? Let's go ahead and poke around a little bit. The place where I like to poke around is app.yaml. The first time you open app.yaml, you have to say open with text editor. Otherwise, it'll open like in some other program. And the first thing that you want to do is you want to replace your username with your username. And you can kill the to-do as well. And then what I want to do is I want to poke around this app for a little bit, and I want to kind of learn about it. While we've got app.yaml, though, we can go ahead and fix this other to-do. This other to-do is we want users to be logged in. So like if you come to the site and you're not logged in, we're going to force you to log in. And you can actually set that feature in the app.yaml file with a simple line that says login required. The approach I'm using here is that you cannot see any pages at all until you give approval to the app. Typically, that's not how commercial products work. They show you like a page when you're not logged in, and there's a button that says, hey, log in. And then once you log in, it shows you stuff. But to keep this one simple, you can't see anything until you log in. So if you try to come to our site, this flag will cause App Engine to redirect you to a login page, and then after you're logging in, it'll send you back. So not best practice to lock down your whole app, but just fine for what we're doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. Those are the only changes we're going to make in this video. But I want to look at the code a little bit just because we're learning about the data models, but there's so much going on in this app. You could learn a ton from it, right? So the way that I start is I look at app.yaml and I look at the handlers. There's nothing surprising here. There's a fave icon for that one file. There's the static folder for serving that. And then everything else goes to main.app. So there's nothing special going on there. I'm going to go look at main and go look at that .app. So the first thing you'll notice that's a little bit different about this main versus some others is there's no handlers like in this file. It's because the program is way too big to jam everything into one file. The only thing that are in my main right now is I've created the Jinja environment in here. I've chosen to do that here. And then I've got the instance of the Web App 2 WSGI application, right? The way this works is it consists of a list of tuples. Each tuple is a combination of a path and the handler that handles that path. So you can see that if somebody comes in to just my raw domain with no path, I'm going to serve to them the GradeRecorder page, right? GradeRecorder page is in the module main page handler. And the way that this works out is I've just imported a bunch of other modules. So I've got my main page handler, so it's in this file called main page handlers. There turns out to be one, so I made it singular. I've also got other handlers that are in a different file that I put into insert handlers, delete handlers, and then my CSV handlers. And if you remember how this app works, you could like edit and delete things. You could import CSV files. And so I've kind of just broken it down into files so I can see what's going on. The other thing that I've done that's different here is I've made a package. A package in Python, I don't know how much you've used Python, is really just a folder with the special file inside of it called __init __.py. If you have a folder with that inside of it, Python, whenever it's looking for modules, it says, hey, this is a package. And I bet there are modules that are inside of it. So it's just an organizational tool. If we were to go look at the main handler, we can see that it's the same thing we've done before, right? So this is a page. It does a GET request. It does some things to get the data. And then once it's got the data, it sends it off to the template. So it's the same as things we've done before. There's just a few more things that go into the template, right? And then, of course, it uses a template file, just like we've used before. So you go into templates, and you can look at this GradeRecorder template. It does things in here like bringing in Bootstrap, so some things like that. It's got a bunch of stuff inside this template. When templates get big like this, you can break them up into pieces, but this one I've just kind of jammed it all in here. To be honest, like 80% of this HTML file is the different modals that pop up. So if you look at this, it's just like one modal after another, after another, after another. And so that works just like you've done before. Let's talk specifically about what you're going to have to write in this app. So you can see that there's the main page. That's done. Not going to write anything for that. Well, indirectly you will. And then there's 4 insert handlers. Let's go look at that page. And you can see that it's not done at all. So that's one big thing we're going to be writing. The delete handlers are actually already written. They're pretty simple. So if you go into delete handlers, that area is done. And then if you go into the CSV area, it's done as well. So no big deal there. The other thing that we are going to write is we're going to write those insert handlers, and we're also going to write some queries. Queries are actually in this utils.py. To be honest, usually when I make an app, I have a bunch of util files, and I'll make a module or a package out of them that's like I've got my handlers package, and then I've got my utils package. That's a very common structure. But this time there were so few that I dumped them into one file, and I didn't even make a package. If you look at this area, you can see that there's a bunch of to-dos. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be practicing making queries in this lab, or sorry, in this lecture. And we're going to be filling in all these to-dos. I think there's like 7 of them or so of queries we're going to do. So let's go and catch up the notes, just kind of make sure that, that we're all caught up. So we made our changes in main. We understand the flow of all these different handlers. So there's a bunch of handlers. Pages get huge, right? So like if you're working on a real app, like you could have hundreds of handlers, right? And it breaks up really nicely though. The places we're going to make changes, app.yaml, that one's done. Models.py, that's the one I was forgetting. So if you go look into models.py, you can see that it's completely blank. And this is obviously what we're going to have to write. It's kind of the heart of this whole unit, right? And then we're also going to be making some queries in there. So we finished our app.yaml changes, and that's where we're going to cut off this video. We'll pick it up next time with making those model objects. See you then. Bye.